Because they're probably all watching this, so it's not true really, but it's quite fun watching people's reactions.
So if you're in a crowd, you need to be aware that you're all watching to see what the reaction is.
The people in the cars behind have a great time.
The royal family is built on centuries of strict traditions, but sometimes even they shake things up. A recent move by Prince William has sparked massive buzz, and it unexpectedly centres on Duchess Sophie's children. People are wondering what's really going on behind this surprising shift. Could it hint at a bigger change brewing inside Buckingham Palace itself? Let's dive into how William personally approved a brand new royal title for Sophie's kids, a move that's turning heads across Britain. Titles in the royal family aren't just fancy names, they're powerful symbols of duty, history, and prestige. So when the titles of Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, suddenly came under review, it sent shockwaves through royal circles. What makes it even more fascinating is that this change reportedly came with Prince William's direct approval. For years, Sophie and Edward, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, chose to keep their children away from royal formality. When Lady Louise was born in 2003 and James followed in 2007, Queen Elizabeth II made it clear under the 1917 letters patent that both children had the right to be styled as Prince and Princess. Technically, Louise could have been Princess Louise of Wessex and James, Prince James of Wessex, but their parents wanted them to live normal, grounded lives, away from the palace spotlight and all its pressure. Sophie and Edward always believed that royal titles could become a heavy burden for their children, something that might trap them in the palace bubble instead of letting them grow freely. Their choice to raise Lady Louise and James away from the royal spotlight earned huge respect. People admired how down-to-earth they were, the normal royals who actually sent their kids to regular schools and let them enjoy a childhood far from constant cameras and headlines. Both Louise and James appeared in public only on rare occasions, becoming symbols of a quieter, more private generation of royals. But now, that calm chapter is closing fast. With Prince William officially approving their new royal titles, the low-key days are over. Lady Louise and James are stepping into the glare of public life. And it's not just about fancy new titles or updated nameplates on royal documents. This move marks a major shift in the monarchy's direction, one that bears William's unmistakable stamp of leadership. As the future king, William is preparing for a modern monarchy, one that's leaner, sharper, and still respectful of age-old traditions. By officially recognizing Lady Louise and James as Prince and Princess, he's bringing in young, capable figures who can help carry the royal workload. With Harry and Meghan gone and Prince Andrew effectively benched, the palace needs new energy. And William knows it. If Sophie and Edward once hoped to shield their children from royal pressure, William's decision has rewritten that plan completely. Lady Louise and James are no longer just the Earl's kids living quietly in the background. They're now active heirs to royal responsibility. Their titles pull them closer to the centre of royal life, where the public eye is impossible to avoid. And make no mistake, this isn't just strategy. William's move also shows deep respect for Edward and Sophie's years of loyal, scandal-free service. It's his way of saying, "You've done your part, now your children will carry it forward." The Duke of Edinburgh. Now that's a title soaked in royal legacy. You can't talk about royal honours without mentioning it. For more than 70 years, it belonged to none other than Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's steadfast partner and one of the most influential figures in royal history. Philip didn't just hold the title, he gave it life. Known for his quick wit, sharp humour, and unshakable loyalty to the Queen, he turned the role into a symbol of strength, modernisation, and relentless service. The Duke of Edinburgh name became a badge of dedication, representing Philip's tireless work ethic and his efforts to bring the royal family into the modern age while keeping tradition alive. When he passed away in April 2021, it marked the end of an era, but the title didn't stay still for long. King Charles briefly carried it before fulfilling a long-standing royal promise, passing it down to his younger brother, Prince Edward, in March 2023. This wasn't just a kind gesture. It was a deeply symbolic moment. Queen Elizabeth herself had once vowed that Edward would inherit their father's title. Charles simply chose when that promise would come to life. For Prince Edward, receiving the Duke of Edinburgh title wasn't just an honour, It was a defining moment. It finally recognised his years of quiet, consistent service to the crown. Alongside Sophie, Edward has earned immense respect for keeping their image spotless. No drama, no scandals, just dedication. They've built a reputation for hard work and grace, focusing on charitable causes that truly make an impact. And as the new Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, they didn't waste a moment, stepping up to bigger responsibilities and winning King Charles's full trust. Their presence injected fresh energy into the royal circle. But this title shift didn't just affect Edward and Sophie, it reshaped their children's futures too. James, now Earl of Wessex, has taken on a title that signals preparation for greater royal duties ahead, and Lady Louise, as the daughter of a duke, carries a status that holds far more weight than before. Prince William's backing of these title changes isn't random, it's strategic. He's linking the Edinburgh legacy with the monarchy's future, just like Prince Philip once stood faithfully beside Queen Elizabeth II. By supporting Edward's family, William is highlighting something crucial. The Edinburghs aren't just relatives, they're a vital part of his long-term plan. The Duke of Edinburgh title comes with real responsibility, not just ceremony. And by emphasising James and Louise, William is making it clear the younger generation of royals will play a serious role in shaping what's next. As the royal family grows smaller and more streamlined, this household now stands as a key pillar in William's vision of the monarchy's evolution. The future, it seems, is already calling, and it begins with James, the young Earl of Wessex, whose upbringing, education, and growing public presence are preparing him for challenges only few can imagine. Born at Frimley Park Hospital in Surrey, James Mountbatten Windsor's story is only just beginning. Prince Edward and Sophie always wanted their son James to experience the best of both worlds, a touch of royal tradition mixed with a real, down-to-earth family life. Unlike his famous cousins William and Harry, who grew up with cameras following their every move, James was given the gift of privacy. His childhood unfolded quietly at Bagshot Park, where he could enjoy a normal routine, playing outside, going on adventures, and simply being a kid. Summers at Balmoral in Scotland added a special royal twist to his upbringing. There, James learned carriage driving directly from his grandfather, Prince Philip, a skill that connected him deeply to his family's legacy. He also shared plenty of moments with his big sister, Lady Louise, strengthening their bond away from public pressure. Those quiet years gave him something rare in royal life, a grounded, confident childhood. For his education, Edward and Sophie chose Eagle House, a well-respected prep school in Berkshire. Teachers described James as polite, curious, and a little bookish, the kind of student who paid attention and got along with everyone. What stood out most was how normal his school life felt. No royal privilege, no spotlight, just learning and growing like any other classmate. That freedom helped him develop his own identity before stepping into the expectations that come with his royal name. As he's grown older, James has slowly stepped into the public eye, and his composure has turned heads. One unforgettable moment came during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in September 2022. Walking beside Lady Louise, he helped guide the Queen's beloved ponies, Emma and Carlton, in a scene that moved millions. His calm and maturity in that emotional moment proved that the next generation of royals, led by young James, is ready to carry the crown's legacy with quiet strength and grace. That powerful moment at the Queen's funeral made something crystal clear. The royal family's future doesn't rest solely on Prince William's shoulders. Others are quietly stepping forward, and James is now one of them. With William's public support, James's gradual move into a more visible royal role isn't just symbolic. It's a clear sign that he's being groomed for something greater. He's no longer just the quiet boy from Bagshot Park. He's a young royal stepping into real responsibility. Every part of his upbringing, from his education to his family values, has been shaping him for this moment. And now all eyes are slowly turning toward his sister, Lady Louise. Her journey might prove even more fascinating and could bring major changes for the royal family's next generation. From the start, Edward and Sophie made it clear that they wanted Louise to enjoy a calm, private life at Bagshot Park, far away from the chaos of royal headlines. But that's changing. With Prince William's approval for adjustments to her royal recognition, Lady Louise is starting to emerge as a potential working royal, and people are definitely noticing. One of her biggest decisions came when she chose to attend the University of St Andrews in Scotland, the very place where Prince William met Catherine Middleton. That connection immediately drew public curiosity, but unlike William, Louise managed to keep things low-key. She stayed focused on her studies, proving that she values education and independence above fame. Her choice reflects not only ambition, but also a deep respect for her family's legacy, showing that Lady Louise might just be the royal to bridge the gap between tradition and a new, modern generation. Lady Louise has always shared a deep, special bond with her late grandfather, Prince Philip, a connection that still shapes her life today. She proudly carries forward one of his greatest passions, carriage driving. It was Philip who first introduced her to the sport, and now she's become a skilled competitor in her own right. At the Royal Windsor Horse Show, Louise commands attention as she drives with focus and determination, keeping her grandfather's legacy alive in the most personal way possible. But her dedication doesn't stop there. Louise has also joined the University Officer Training Corps, where students balance their studies with intense military-style training. It's a move that reflects her strong sense of discipline, resilience, and service, values that perfectly align with the royal family's modern image. This commitment makes her stand out as one of the most promising young royals, blending old traditions with a bold, forward-thinking mindset. Prince William's recent support for Louise's growing recognition marks a major shift inside the palace. While her parents once preferred to keep her out of the royal spotlight, his approval now opens the door for Louise to take on public duties, a clear sign that she's stepping into something much bigger. She's no longer just Edward and Sophie's daughter. She's emerging as a royal figure in her own right. As her role expands, it's even rumoured that she could one day receive a Duchess-style title to reflect her increasing responsibilities. Lady Louise's journey beautifully combines tradition, education, and service, and it's becoming clear that she's not just following royal footsteps, she's leaving her own. With Prince William's backing, Lady Louise is clearly being prepared for bigger roles within the monarchy. But that's not all. His support has also sparked quiet questions inside royal circles about how much influence her mother, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, had over the title changes for both Louise and James. And honestly, it wouldn't be surprising. Sophie's journey within the royal family has been one of the most remarkable transformations ever. Before marrying Prince Edward in 1999, Sophie was living an entirely different life, thriving in the world of public relations and completely outside the royal bubble. Stepping into that world meant facing pressure, judgment, and the kind of scrutiny few could handle. The early years were tough, but Sophie didn't just survive. She learned, adapted, and found her true place within the monarchy, her secret weapon, a genuine, unshakable bond with Queen Elizabeth II herself. Unlike many royal relatives who kept their distance, Sophie shared a personal, almost mother-daughter relationship with the Queen. She often spent weekends at Windsor Castle, joining the Queen for quiet chats and private meals. Palace staff even nicknamed her the Queen's second daughter, a sign of deep trust and affection. This rare closeness helped define Sophie's public image. She wasn't flashy or dramatic. She was loyal, steady, and deeply committed to service. Whether representing the crown at charity events or travelling overseas for royal duties, she carried herself with quiet dignity, earning respect from both the public and the palace. At home, Sophie and Edward built a family rooted in love and balance. They raised Lady Louise and James with a mix of royal values and real-world privacy, all while keeping their bond with the late Queen strong. Now, with Prince William officially approving the title changes for their children, it's clear Sophie's quiet influence runs deeper than ever. Her journey from outsider to one of the most trusted figures in the royal household has shaped not just her own legacy, but the future of the entire Edinburgh branch of the monarchy. Today, Sophie is viewed as far more than just Prince Edward's wife. She's a powerful and trusted pillar within the royal family itself. Her loyalty, composure, and years of dedicated service have earned her a quiet but vital influence over the monarchy's direction. It's clear that her role will continue to shape how the royal family evolves in the years to come. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in September 2022 after an extraordinary 70-year reign, the loss left a deep void that no one could easily fill. The transition of power happened swiftly. Charles ascended the throne as king, while William stepped into the role of Prince of Wales, redefining the entire royal hierarchy almost overnight. For Prince Edward, becoming the new Duke of Edinburgh wasn't just a title. It was deeply personal. It symbolised both respect for his late father, Prince Philip, and the continuation of a legacy rooted in loyalty and service. This shift also elevated Sophie and their children, Louise and James, placing them in a more prominent position within the royal framework. Now, the monarchy faces the challenge of honouring the Queen's lasting legacy while preparing a new generation to carry it forward, and William is leading that charge. By bringing Louise and James into more visible roles, he's making sure the monarchy remains strong, modern, and relatable. For Sophie's family, these newly granted titles don't just represent status. They cement their lasting place in royal history, marking the beginning of a powerful new chapter for the House of Edinburgh. However, legacy isn't only about titles. It also lives on through personal items, heirlooms, letters, and keepsakes passed down through generations. But what happens to these possessions when a reign ends? Stay tuned. This is the sealed legacy. For over a century, the British royal family's wills have been kept private. The tradition began in 1910, after the death of Prince Francis of Teck. Since then, the wills of senior royals have been sealed for at least 90 years, keeping personal details, heirlooms, and any family disputes hidden from the public eye. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, the same rule applied, but curiosity grew. What might her will contain for her family? Many believe the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, especially Sophie, Lady Louise, and James, held a special place in the late Queen's heart. That closeness has fueled endless speculation about what personal tokens or messages she may have left behind. Because the truth will remain sealed for decades, the mystery only deepens. In the royal world, inheritance isn't just about wealth. It shapes legacy. To be remembered by the monarch, even through a private note, carries a significance that echoes through history. If the late Queen did leave gifts for Sophie's family, Prince William's support for their royal standing might not be coincidence. It could reflect the Queen's quiet wishes. If the late Queen truly left behind personal gifts or messages for Sophie and her family, it would reveal just how much she valued them, not just as relatives, but as pillars of quiet strength during her reign. Prince William's consistent support for Sophie, Edward, and their children may not simply be a matter of royal protocol. It might, in fact, echo the late Queen's own wishes, an unspoken continuation of her intent to keep the family united. When we think about royal inheritance, our minds instantly turn to dazzling jewels, historic tiaras, or priceless brooches passed through generations. Queen Elizabeth II's jewellery collection was one of the largest in the world, filled with stories, sentiment, and history. Every gem told a tale of duty, of love, or of personal triumph. Many of these pieces are believed to be divided between her children, while others may have been carefully designated for her granddaughters and great-granddaughters. But not all legacies can be worn or displayed. Some are made of words, wisdom, and memory. The Queen was known for her deeply personal letters, notes filled with warmth, reflection, and advice. If she left such letters for Lady Louise or James, they would be treasures beyond value. Imagine opening a handwritten note from your grandmother, the longest reigning monarch in British history, filled with her thoughts, her hopes, perhaps even her blessings for the life ahead. Those letters, if they exist, could guide the young royals far more than any diamond ever could. The secrecy surrounding the royal will only deepens this sense of mystery. For over a century, the wills of senior royals have been sealed, hidden from the public for at least 90 years. This practice began in 1910 with Prince Francis of Teck and has continued ever since. It's a way to protect privacy, but also to protect the monarchy itself. After all, when you live your entire life in the public eye, death is perhaps the only time privacy is truly possible. By keeping wills confidential, the royal family avoids speculation, jealousy, and potential disputes. It prevents the tabloids from dissecting every gift, every word, every sentimental gesture. The will remains what it was meant to be, a final, private conversation between the monarch and her family. And yet, secrecy invites curiosity. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in September 2022, the public couldn't help but wonder, what did she leave behind? Not just in jewels or estates, but in meaning. Did she leave personal keepsakes to Sophie, the daughter-in-law who earned her quiet admiration? Did she write heartfelt letters to Lady Louise, whose poise reminded many of a young Elizabeth herself? Or perhaps to James, the Queen's youngest grandson, who often walked beside her at Balmoral and Windsor in those quiet family moments? We may never know, and that's precisely what keeps the mystique alive. Still, the Queen's influence continues to shape her family. William's growing closeness to the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, and his support for their increased public roles, may not be coincidence. It could be his way of honouring his grandmother's private intentions, giving Sophie's family a stronger place in the royal future she envisioned. Even without public proof, the Queen's hand can still be felt in the choices her children and grandchildren make. From the titles they hold to the duties they accept, her legacy quietly lives on through them. And perhaps that's the truest form of inheritance, not what is written in ink or sealed in a vault, but what continues to guide hearts and decisions long after she's gone. Because in the royal world, inheritance is more than just wealth or jewels. It's about carrying the weight of memory, the responsibility of tradition, and the silent promise to uphold a legacy built over 70 years. The Queen's will may remain sealed, but her influence is anything but hidden. It lingers in the gestures, alliances, and quiet respect that define today's royal family. A sealed legacy, yes, but one that still speaks volumes through the actions of those she left behind. When people think of royal inheritance, jewellery often comes to mind. Queen Elizabeth II owned one of the most remarkable personal collections in the world. Many of those pieces may one day pass to her children and grandchildren. But not all legacies are tangible. The Queen was known for her handwritten letters, words of encouragement and wisdom. If she left such letters for Lady Louise or James, they would be priceless, deeply personal gifts that could guide them for life. The royal tradition of sealing wills protects privacy and, perhaps, family harmony. Public inheritances have sparked conflict before, the kind that risks damaging the monarchy's reputation. Keeping wills sealed ensures that the Queen's final intentions remain personal, not political. Even so, the effects of her choices still ripple through the family today. William's quiet support for Sophie and her children, including changes to their royal titles, may reflect both legal realities and the Queen's enduring influence. Though the contents of her will remain a mystery, one truth is clear. Royal inheritance isn't only about jewels or estates, it's about memory, duty, and the quiet continuation of a legacy that still shapes the crown today. Queen Elizabeth's passing triggered the transfer of some of the most significant assets that sustain the British monarchy. One of the biggest changes involved the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate spanning more than 130,000 acres that provides income for the heir to the throne. After the Queen's death, it passed to Prince William, giving him both immense wealth and the responsibility of managing land that affects countless communities. Meanwhile, King Charles retained the Duchy of Lancaster, which provides him with an independent income, funding his private expenses and charitable work without relying solely on public money. Keeping these two duchies separate maintains a balance between the monarch's independence and the heir's preparation for leadership. Beyond that, Charles also inherited the private estates of Sandringham and Balmoral. Balmoral, especially, carries deep emotional significance. It was Queen Elizabeth II's beloved retreat. These estates remain part of the royal line, meaning that in time, Prince William will inherit them too. As William steps further into his future role, he's also shaping the next generation. His approval of title changes for Lady Louise and James reflects a monarchy in transition, one that's modernising and preparing younger members for more public duties. In the royal world, inheritance isn't only about land or wealth, it's about duty, responsibility, and preparation for the future. For William, managing the Duchy of Cornwall and one day overseeing Balmoral and Sandringham marks the next chapter in his journey. For Louise and James, their new titles hint at growing roles within the royal family's story. Do you think Lady Louise and James will become more visible members of the monarchy in the years to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal insights and updates.